Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the national anthems of the Philippines and Spain.
Please be seated now. Please be seated. Go.
Please be seated, everyone. And now, let's welcome our hosts, Miss Cebu 2011, Mia Ali, and Amigos de España in Cebu, Filipinas, member Kingsley Medalla.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasant morning to start our day with a historic occasion for everyone here this morning.
Exactamente, Mia. Muy buenos días a todos.
Maayong pag-abot sa tanan. My name is Mia Ali and I will be your host for today.
Yo me llamo Kingsley Medalla y soy su otro presentador junto con mi compañera Mia. Hoy celebramos los honores de legada y ceremonia de bienvenida del buque escuela Juan Sebastian Elcano.
500 years ago, Fernando Magallanes, commonly known as the sailor Ferdinand Magellan, sailed westward from Spain toward the unknown lands in search for another route towards the Spice Islands.
Como algo aún desconocido a él y a sus compañeros, la expedición les llevaría posteriormente a confirmar que el mundo era verdaderamente redondo. Y navegando hacia el occidente pudieron alcanzar el hemisferio al este de España.
Originally, Magallanes led 5 ships, but only one, named Victoria, successfully returned to Spain in Sanlúcar de Barrameda. The captain of that said ship was Juan Sebastian Elcano.
Juan Sebastián Elcano fue el primero en completar la circunnavigación del mundo por un periodo de 3 años.
And to give us a glimpse of pre-colonial Cebuana culture, which Magellan and his men might have witnessed 500 years ago, let us all welcome the Lumad Basakanon.
Muchísimas gracias, Lumad Basacanon. Para sus palabras de bienvenida, contamos con el general Roberto Toriales Sancán, comandante de la Fuerza Central de Filipinas.
In the name of God, the most beneficent and merciful, may the peace and blessings of the Almighty be upon us all. May I first greet the personalities here present. The Mayor of Cebu City, Honorable Ed Labella, the Vice Mayor of Cebu City, Honorable Mike Rama, the Mayor of Lapu-Lapu, Mayor Ahong Chan, the Commander, my Commander of the Naval Forces of Central, Commodore Ernie Baldovino, Director Shalimar Tamano, the Regional Director of the Department of Tourism of Region 7, Director Leo Tovela of DLG 7, Yosek John G. Gonzalez of the Office of the Presidential Affairs of Visayas, the Consul Agent of the United States of America, Mr. Glenn Loop, the Honorary Consul of Spain here in Cebu, Mr. Anton Perdeses, the Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of Spain, Ms. Amaya Fuentes Milani, Mr. David Teron Gonzalez, the Chancellor Consulate General of Spain, Colonel and Mrs. Rick Pardo, the Defense and the Forces Attaché of Spain, other members of the Diplomatic Corps, the men, the soldiers, airmen, sailors, and marines of the Naval of Central Command of your Armed Forces of the Philippines, the ship captain of Elcano, Captain Santiago de Colsa, and the sailors of Elcano. Mayong buntag, buenos dias, kanatong tanan. We are all in the same boat. This phrase has been uttered a million times since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. With our situation, it tantamounts to sailing a boat. No matter what winds others may create against us, we can adjust our sails to navigate and continue our mission. Because these storms only comes to teach us on how to skillfully sail our vessel. And there will always be rough days and easy ones. Like a ship, we must sail through both with resiliency. In service to the King of Spain, 5 ships were sent in an expedition in 1519 in search for the Spice Island. Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan commanded the ship Trinidad, the lead ship, and 4 other vessels, San Antonio, Concepcion, Santiago, and Victoria in 1521, the expedition was completed with only the Victoria returning to Spain, carrying 18 survivors of the sailors out of the original 270 sailors. It was Castilian navigator Juan Sebastian Elcano who took command and completed the expedition after Magellan was killed in the Battle of Mactan. Whereas Elcano completed the first recorded circumnavigation of the globe, covering a distance of 14,000 legs. 500 years later, the third tallest ship in the world with 113 meters long fast bridge schooner is finally here in the waters of Cebu. Here we can really take a look or glimpse of it. Likewise, I personally saw the ship when I went to Guiuan last 16 March. 500 years ago, the ship returned to the shore of Samar. One of the Pinoy pop novelty music's biggest personalities was the singer-composer and comedian, the late Lolo Yoyoy Villami, composed a song entitled Magellan. On a personal note, last 16 May this year, I turned on that song on March 16, 1521, when Magellan discovered the Philippines. This manifests how Magellan influenced the Filipino people. Aside from the historic circumnavigation and the quintessential of Christianity, the Philippines is also celebrating the 500th anniversary of the victory of Mactan. This year indeed, we are truly blessed for this triple celebration, which significantly defines the journey between two countries that strengthen deeper bonds and friendship that paved in the battlefield since 1521. With both the traditional and new challenges that we are facing, it is with optimism that we manifest our resiliency to commune with God Almighty as the true source of strength and courage in accomplishing our mission. In a sustained joint air, sea, and land operations here in the Visayas. As the commander of the Central Command in the Visayas region, I must see to it that we must not fail in our mission in preserving the peace and security in the Visayas region. Once again, I warmly welcome everyone to the arrival ceremony of the Spanish training ship, Juan Sebastian Elcano, led by the ship captain, Captain Santiago de Cosa, and the sailors of the Elcano. Sa luwat, mayong buntag kanatong tanan, buenos dias to all the members here of the Visayas region and the members of the Diplomatic Corps. Welcome to the arrival ceremony of Elcano. Sa liwat, mayong buntag, buenos dias, to God be the glory.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant General Ancan, for such warm welcome. And echoing what you said, sir, earlier, smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. And after all of the global challenge that we have experienced in the past year, hopefully we will come out stronger and better than before. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us move forward and call on OPAV Undersecretary Gerard Anthony John G. Gonzalez to give a message on behalf of the National Quincentennial Committee.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I proceed, let me acknowledge our guest today, Honorable Edgar Labella, Mayor, City of Cebu, Honorable Michael Rama, Vice Mayor, City of Cebu, Lieutenant General Roberto Ancan, Commander, Central Command, Commodore Ernesto Baldovino, Commander, Naval Force Central, General Ronnie Montejo, Regional Director, Police Region Office, Director Samar Tamano, Department of Tourism, Region 7, Mayor Ahong Chan, Mayor of Lapu-Lapu City, Santiago de Colsa, Ship Captain, Colonel Ricardo Pardo, Defense Attaché, David Ferron, Chancellor, Spanish Embassy, Mr. Glenn Loop, Consular Agent of the United States of America, Mr. Anton Perdices, Honorary Consul of Spain in Cebu, Jose Sala, Honorary Consul of Sweden, Francesco Guidicelli, Honorary Consul of Italy. Asa man akong speech? Pila ka ka? Okay. We are now on the 5th day of the 2021 quincentennial commemorations in the Philippines. We started it in Guiuan, Eastern Samar on March 16. It will last until October 28, which is the 500th anniversary of the exit of the Magellan-Elcano expedition from the Philippine waters via Sarangani Island, Davao Occidental. But the Philippines has begun its commemoration on the day President Rodrigo Roa Duterte signed Executive Order number 55, which created the National Quincentennial Committee, or NQC, from which yours truly is a regular member on behalf of the Visayas. But a lot of people are still confused. Why are we commemorating the coming of the Spaniards of the Philippines? Is the Magellan-Elcano expedition our history? The NQC has already settled this issue during its first meeting in June 2018. The committee assures the Filipino people that we will not celebrate the discovery of the Philippines. We will commemorate the quincentennial the Filipino way, which means we will raise awareness of our countrymen about the rich yet challenging prehistoric, pre-Hispanic, or pre-colonial history. It is rich because of thousands of years before 1521, our ancestors were already existing and thriving in these islands of Southeast Asia. It is challenging because of the scant sources, but the NQC keeps on tracking whatever is left about our pre-colonial ancestors from various libraries and archives around the world. We need to understand our ancestors while commemorating the quincentennial, their society, belief system, customs, worldview. Because we need to represent our ancestors well in writing and in artistic depiction, the choice of words matters. Like we refer to them as our ancestors, to signify that they are part of our being. The depiction to them should conform with the latest researches and studies by the historians, anthropologists, and archaeologists, far from the Orientalist, racist, and exotized Western depictions. The quincentennial commemorations are our platform to bring forth our own view and voice of what happened 500 years ago. Yet grateful to the recorded history by the Europeans, especially Antonio Pigafetta, the chronicler of the expedition. In this framework, the NQC chose 500th anniversary of the first circumnavigation of the world as the branding of the commemorations instead of the Eurocentric discovery of the Philippines. While we commemorate our own milestones associated with the first circumnavigation, such as the humanity at Homonhon, which we commemorated in Guiuan the past days, the Easter Sunday Mass in Limasawa on March 31, the baptism in Cebu on April 27, we are also one with the rest of humankind in acknowledging the achievement of science and humanity of encircling the planet for the first time. Nevertheless, the Kingdom of Spain, through its ambassador to the Philippines, Jorge Moragas, has been supportive of the Philippine commemoration. He even graced the first 4 days of the commemorations there in Guiuan. He also worked with the NQC in making this event possible. The visitation of their training ship, Juan Sebastian Elcano. On behalf of the National Quincentennial Committee, I would like to thank the Spanish Embassy in the Philippines, Cebu City Government, National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Cebu Port Authority, Philippine Navy, Philippine Coast Guard, Lapu-Lapu City Government, and Radio Television Malacañang for this simple yet meaningful event. Good morning to everyone.
Muchas gracias al secretario auxiliar, el señor González. En este momento nos toca escuchar el mensaje del alcalde de la ciudad de Cebu, Su Excelencia, el distinguido y honorable señor Don Edgardo Labella.
Estimado Señor Capitán Santiago de Colza, of course, Señorita Amaya Fuentes Milani, Her Honor, the Deputy Ambassador of the Spanish government, of course, the Chancellor of the Spanish Embassy, Defense Attaché Colonel Ricardo Pardo, Chancellor David Teron, Mr. Alfonso Teron, of course, the son of the Deputy Ambassador, our friends and contemporaries in the Republic of the Philippines, headed by our Honorable Vice Mayor, Michael Lopez Rama, together with Councilors Garcia, who claims to be a relative of some of these crew members, Councilor Joel Garganera, Councilor Dondon Honteveros, Lieutenant General Roberto Angcan, Undersecretary Anthony Gerald Gonzalez of OFAB, Commodore Ernesto Baldoveno of the Philippine Navy, Director Shalimar Homer Tamano of the Department of Tourism, Director Leocaldo Troveda, and of course the very active and energetic mayor of our neighboring city, Lapu-Lapu City, Mayor Jonard Ahong Chan, our good friend, the ambassador or the consul, honorary consul to Cebu from Spain, Honorable Anton Perdeses, fellow workers in government, fellow Cebuanos, our friends from Spain, buenos dias to all of us. De parte del gobierno de Ciudad de Cebu, le damos bienvenida a la ciudad de Cebu, donde el primero asentamiento español fue fundado en 1521 por el bautismo de la reina Juana. Pardon me with that very short Spanish language, because it was our forebears, our parents, who used Spanish as the medium in their educational attainment and even in our judicial and legal system. To reiterate that in English, in behalf of the city government of Cebu, I welcome every one of you to Cebu City, where the first Spanish settlement was established in 1521 through the baptism of Queen Juana. It is our great pride and honor to welcome to the shores of Cebu City the crew of Spanish Navy's shipping ship Juan Sebastian Elcano, led, of course, by Captain Santiago de Colsa. You have sailed far and wide to get here. And ladies and gentlemen, they deserve our warmest welcome. Let us all give them a resounding round of applause. When we first learned of the Cebu stop of the Elcano ship, we made sure that we will be able to put up this short but meaningful program and arrival honors for you so that you will feel the Cebuano brand of hospitality. Today, we relive history as it happened 500 years ago when Ferdinand Magallanes set foot in Cebu, which gave birth to our Christianity. May this remind us all of our deeply rooted faith to Señor Santo Niño, which remains strong up to this day and which was made possible through the first circumnavigation of the world. Cebu City is excited to be part of the quincentennial commemorations, and we look forward to all the other activities that have been lined up in the coming week and months. I won't keep this message long. Hoy caliente. It's so hot. So, again, Captain and the crew, welcome to Cebu City. Muchos gracias.
Daghang salamat, Mayor Labella. Indeed, we are all very thankful for everyone here today, for everyone who are on board the Elcano ship, for our friends from the media, the local government officials and institutions. We are very thankful to have you here and join us despite the scorching sun, just to celebrate this historic moment for both the Philippines and Spain.
Reunidos hoy para honrar la legada del buque escuela Juan Sebastián Elcano. Aprovechamos este momento para prestar atención y escuchar la música de este buque histórico.
And to translate, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to encourage everyone to please turn your attention to the Elcano ship as we listen to the historic music from the Elcano ship.
Beautiful training ship in the country in which I serve as a diplomat. As a matter of fact, I already had that chance 3 years ago in Senegal. But this time, 3 factors make this moment particularly significant. The first factor is that we are here at all, in spite of the COVID pandemic. The fact that we have pushed through with this project against the difficulties of the situation and the uncertainties around its feasibility is a proof of the importance that we all attach to this commemoration. It is also a symbol of the resilience of our peoples and our countries, not only the present, but throughout many centuries. The same resilience that showed the crew of the Magellan-Elcano expedition along the 3-year-long trip, in spite of the fact that almost 90% of the initial crew perished along the way. The same resilience that you Filipinos show all the time in the light of numerous difficulties, natural hazards, for example, that affect your country. The second factor that I would like to underline is that Cebu was not one more stop in the original expedition, but one of the historically more relevant stops. It was here where Juan Sebastian Elcano actually took command of the expedition after the death of Magellan, deciding then to continue the trip westwards instead of going back through the east, as some wanted. A decision that resulted in the expedition completing the first known tour of the world, an incredible achievement at the time, which has repeatedly been compared to modern-day space exploration, and which actually changed the course of history. The third factor is that what Cebu represents. When the expedition first arrived here in 1521, this was a small settlement. Now Cebu is the second largest city in the Philippines, home to more than 1 million people, and a symbol of how the Philippines has been growing and developing along the last decades. It is also one of the center stages of modern-day cooperation between our two countries, since a Spanish company, for example, is leading here one of the most important infrastructure projects in the country, the Cebu Cordova Link. In these times of uncertainties, of fear and economic difficulties, the historical ties between Spain and the Philippines must become stronger than ever, because only together, through the development of common new projects and initiatives, will we be able to overcome the crisis brought about by the pandemic. We must take advantage of the many things that bind us together in order to successfully overcome the challenges. With this wish of future increased mutual cooperation and prosperity, I would like to thank you warmly for today's event. Thank you very much. Salamat po.
Muchísimas gracias, señora doña Amaya Fuentes Milani, por sus amables palabras. Ahora, o a continuación, vamos a escuchar el mensaje del capitán Santiago de Colza.
Distinguished authorities, civilian military authorities, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. As the commanding officer of the Spanish Navy training ship Juan Sebastian Elcano, it is a great honor to participate in this arrival ceremony. The presence of the oldest and most emblematic ship of the Spanish Navy today in the Philippines has not been easy due to the COVID pandemic. The ship set sail from Spain last August the 24th for a one-year round-the-world training tour with 62 naval cadets on board. As you can imagine, we have had to take all necessary precautions to avoid the spread of the virus on board. Therefore, the crew has remained locked down in the ship in every port call, impeding crew members to go ashore on liberty. However, being here today with you has a great symbolic meaning that compensates the huge effort we have made. This stopover enhances the strong historic ties between the Philippines and Spain. We share a common history that goes back 500 years, when the expedition promoted by the Spanish crowd of Ferdinand, Magellan, and Juan Sebastian Elcano arrived in this island. In spite of all the danger and challenge they had to overcome in that astounding journey, they were able to fulfill the first circumnavigation around the world. With it, they set the most important milestone in maritime history. This deed, that only a few were able to complete, gave way to numerous transcendental advances. One of them was that, for the first time, the Earth was dimensioned. Also, this first circumnavigation was a decisive leap in cartography, geography, navigation, and astronomy. However, not only did we achieve important advances in science, but this journey united the world by sea, also marked a huge step forward in the development for the first time of the concepts of globalization and human dignity. The presence of this nonagenarian ship here is also a great example of the current good relationship between the Philippines and Spain. Both countries share a special bond. We are maritime nations, and in consequence, our people tend to be open-minded and adaptable, and we have learned from the sea that tenacity, courage, and hard work are essential to face up to the challenge of the 21st century, however demanding they may be. Finally, I would like to express infinite gratitude for your hospitality. During our stopover, we are feeling very close the kindness of Philippines people. And even though this is the first this ship visits this beautiful city of Cebu, I am convinced that we will soon be back to further strengthen our historic ties. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Captain De Colsa. It is indeed, we are very indeed lucky or unfortunate to be part of this historic milestone, and hopefully this good relationship between the Philippines and Spain will go on for more centuries ahead.
Right. Otra efeméride monumental de hace 500 años fue una ceremonia de intercambio de ofrendas entre el Raja Humabon y Ferdinand de Magallanes, el cual simbolizó las relaciones amistosas establecidas entre ellos. Este intercambio de ofrendas fue muy significativo, ya que fue una señal de amistad entre dos culturas diferentes.
Today, we rekindle that same friendship by another gift-giving ceremony. May we now call on Honorable Edgardo Labella, Mayor of